Good evening, fellas. Shit, give me one sec. I can hear myself. Give me 1 second, just writing to my CTO. All right, where is this thing? High gold. Whew. All right, beautiful. What a beautiful face on a camera. Oh my God. I'm code breaker. Oof. You know, when you see yourself and you look just so amazing. Jesus, what a hot guy. Give me 1 sec. Is the music too loud? Is the music too loud? Should I reduce it a bit? Hopefully you guys can hear me, actually. Can you? Let me see. Yeah, you should be able to hear me. You're just ignoring me. You don't think it's loud. Beautiful. 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 All right. Good evening. All right. Long day here. I hope you guys had a better day. Sako was right at my place now. He just left 30 minutes ago. We've been sitting on my balcony for like 2.5 hours. I missed him so much. So he was here at my place. Trust gamers. Good evening, buddy. So for those of you who left the stream early yesterday, so this was the thing I came up with. This is obviously not final, but just so you know now, when you go to articles, those are your own. It looks like shit. I just couldn't come up with anything better last night before the stream. But this combined, you can see all of the articles. So this is now all, and this is the ones you follow. So just FYI, right? And then we'll figure it out as we go. I don't know a better solution yet. Sako suggested something, but we'll see. All right, let's get on hacking. Yeah, okay. So Leo asked, what are we doing today? It's a good question. So all right, let's figure it out. All right, so before we start coding, give me 1 second. We had any 400s past 12 hours. Is that really true? So that's good, actually. Hello, sir. Good evening, brother. Hello, sir. Can you buy me a... Okay. All right, so that's good. That's good. So we don't have any errors. So that's good. The API is doing really well. That's amazing. Probably because nobody probably visited the site past 12 hours. So if you guys don't visit Programmer Network, it's always going to work. I think that's the best solution. Okay. All right, cool. So let's just focus on something. We need to. So what my desire is that we fully stabilize this, what we have now, and then continue. So and then courses, for example. Yeah, I'll need to record the course soon. I keep saying this now for a long time, but I really have to start doing that so I can actually test this feature. Because if I don't make a course, I don't think that anyone else will. Okay, syncing repos seems to be broken. Let's try this one. Let's see what this is. Syncing repos seems to be broken. And then another thing, shit, yeah. So just FYI, Figma has released extension. I think this actually exists for some time. I don't know when they released this, but they have this Figma for VS Code now. I make all the components myself. I do not use any library. All right, cool. So let's try this. Syncing repos seems to be broken. So I don't actually know what this means. I made this bug long ago, but I didn't put any description because I'm an idiot, right? So yeah, it's hard to tell. So let's go ahead and see. So let's go here, repositories, and let's see what actually happens. Sync. Okay, good. It is broken. Perfect. Okay, well, why is it perfect? Because then we can fix it, right? So it's good that it's failing. Let's see, sync. Okay, amazing. Great, great, great. Good. That's good, actually. Okay. Users AJ repository does not support client ID, client secret basic authentication. What? Okay. So it seems that GitHub has changed something in their API. Let's actually see what's happening. So this is the thing that we're trying to call sync user repositories, right? Then we try to call get users GitHub handler resource blah blah. Okay. And what do we get? Yeah, we must fix this actually. I was wondering why people are not syncing their repos more. This is why, right? What a fail. Okay. Message does not support. Okay, let's Google this because I'm sure that this is something related to their Okta thing. Something newer at least. I just needed to add personal access token rather than going to auth way. Okay. OctaKit. Interesting. So this is where I'm setting this thing up. And then process env gh client ID. GH client secret. So maybe this is just messed up locally. And not maybe locally I don't have the actual. Give me 1 second. Give me a moment. Let me just print this stuff without you seeing the values of it. That's why I'm showing my very beautiful face to you guys right now. Give me a second. 1 sec. Okay, so actually credentials are there. So that's quite awkward. Thank you very much for the follow. The person with bunch of K's in the nickname, impossible to yeah. So this seems fine. This seems fine. Auth. I just needed to add a personal access token rather than going to auth way. Okay. Auth my personal access token. Okay, so let's research that. Personal access token. Very beautiful face, exactly. 100%. Clearly. I think so. Fundamentally, when it comes to this feature, right? I think it would be better if going this way, you actually truly have to authenticate with GitHub to sync your repos, because right now you don't, right? So in simple words, right? If we go to auth, I actually don't know where it is. Let me try to find it. So if we go to setup plugins, I suppose. Which GitHub, where's the GitHub? Yeah, here, GitHub configuration, provider configuration, token host, revoke path, whatever. And then the scope here, we would need to ask a user for a specific scope if they would want to actually sync their repos, right? So right now we're doing that. Give me 1 second. New personal access token function like ordinary auth access token. They can be used instead of a password. Forget. Yeah, fuck. The question is, do we want to do this now? Maybe we do, right? But instead of, yeah. Okay, let's try with the UI. Let's start with the UI, because I think fundamentally we have to change this feature. And here he is. Panosa, you know who was just at my place? Sako. He left like 40 minutes ago. We've been sitting on my balcony for like, I don't know, 2.5 hours. And then you come to the stream now. Just amazing. It's been raining there. I see. Shit, man. Okay, and then let's call this. So I guess when you click the sync, so let's take a look at this. So we'll have to refactor this a bit, right? So I suppose, okay, so if we want to do this feature properly, right? Then when you click the sync, we need to initiate the auth flow to GitHub. Then we ask you for a repository scope. Once you then connect, we call the callback in the API, then API redirects us here, and then this shows your actual repositories, right? So this would be the real way of doing this. And I think it's time that we do it the right way, because before I was using the public stuff, which had limited amount of, yeah. Shit, okay, that's quite amount of work, to be honest. Okay, let me just think here for a moment. Let me think. Okay, so let's just draw this for us, just so we can follow a bit easier, right? Let's just be smart here and pragmatic, right? It's gonna be done in around 10 seconds, 100%. Okay, so let's see. User clicks sync button in the UI. Call the API. Call our API, call PN API. PN API calls initiates GitHub auth flow. My vacation is in 7th of August, 7th to 28th. So quite a while until my vacation, a month. P and API initializes GitHub auth flow. You know, then here we say we request the necessary scopes. Example, public repositories. Then this thing calls back the callback, calls us back via callback, for example, /github/sync repositories. Yeah, it is a bit late. Yeah. And then we redirect here to our app. Redirect. Well, actually, so no. So here then we simply so this calls the callback. Inside of the callback, we're gonna get the actual repositories payload in here. Hopefully, we store them in a database as we are now. We redirect back to client with some URL parameters that we can then use to notify a user that syncing went well. Preferably redirects back to repositories view. Good evening, Matt is my friend. How's life? Okay, so we have a plan, right? Now we're 1% done. Everybody has a plan, like Mike Tyson said, until you get hit in the face, right? Okay, great. So this is the plan, right? Now let's see. Let's use our favorite thing just for research, so we know what we want to do. I would like my users on my social platform to sync their GitHub repositories. I like to sync their GitHub repositories using GitHub auth. In simple words, when users click a button in my UI, I'd like to call my API. Then that then calls GitHub API with requested repositories scopes, responds back to a provided callback somewhere, etc. Sheet. I mean, we've done this already, but let's just request user. I wonder though if we can use the existing app that we have, right? Because if you go to Programmer Network to production, right, we already have authentication with GitHub, right? So the question is, should I just use the same application? And this one is mainly used for logging in. I wonder if I can use the same app for dealing with this thing as well. So that is the ultimate question, right? So let's see. So let's go to my GitHub. Let's go to my profile. Let's go to, oh, new, was that new Fastify released? Let's go to this organization. Give me 1 second. Fastify is JVT, unconditional decorate request with JVT, the code. Actually, give me 1 second. All right, I have no time for that now. Okay, so let's go to settings here in Program Network Organization. Let's go to, no, it's actually, I'm sure it's not that. Where was it? Where the robot. So auth, developer settings, yeah. Developer settings, auth, apps. So we have the Programmer Network app, right? The biggest problem with this though is I don't think we can use this, can we? Because it's calling this callback, which is used for authentication, right? So we need a different callback, right? So let's create a new app, right? getting ready for the architecture for my project that I would like to add with my friends also. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, honestly, for a while now. Allergy has kind of stopped. So, yeah. What type of application you want to build? Programmer, network. Sync repositories. Sync user repositories. Fuck, I don't actually know if this is if we can be more efficient here just reusing the same app. I don't think so. I mean, yeah, we could implement the logic though, right? Like let's take a look what I have so far. So we have callback URI. Let's find the logic for this. I don't remember where I wrote it, but I think I remember I wrote it pretty well. I was very happy with the outcome of this. I think I wrote like a generic type of thing. Ben, good evening, buddy. Yeah. So this is my whole authentication related stuff. Yeah. Exactly. So we have the callback kind of generic thing here that works for all of the strategies, and then we have different strategies. Now the main question though is shit. No, of course I can. Yeah, you're 100% right. Your assessment is correct. It's just I don't know if the question isn't if we can do it. The question is if I want to do it, right? Because we cannot assume that everyone who logs in with GitHub will also want to sync their repositories. That's the problem, right? We cannot make that decision for a user, right? Or in simple words, I don't want to bind the users. I don't want to force them to sync repos, right? So that is the problem, right? This is an optional feature. You can do it if you decide to do it, right? But yeah, over here, if we would do this and if we would request the additional scopes, right, then we would actually get that the repositories in here, right? And then literally like over here, we could say, you know, we now got the repos as well, you know, sync them in the DB, right? The thing is virtual, right? I'm 100% on the same page with you, right? But again, right, that checkbox that you get in auth flow, right, wouldn't be indicative, I believe, enough to the users when they're signing up, right? It wouldn't be clear to people who never visited the platform, who don't even know that we have a feature such as syncing repos. You get what I mean, right? So that is my problem. Wait, let me just think for a second. Yeah. Yeah, it has to be a different app. I just don't see it happening here. Let me just think. Let me think. Give me a moment. Let me just think about it. Yeah, my brain is just telling me no. That's the problem. That's the problem. Now, whatsoever, even worse, creating a whole new application also feels wrong, right? It also feels wrong, right? Just having two applications to do the same thing, right? Fuck. I think that neither of the solutions we mentioned is actually the solution. I think the solution is okay. I think I got it. So I think the solution, actually the correct solution here is that we ask the user to authenticate with GitHub, just to authenticate with it. And then any GitHub related actions user would be able to perform by the token that we get from GitHub, right? So then we would ask them, hey, so actually So the question, so the main question here is this, right? If you authenticate with, so the main question I think is this: if I authenticate you with specific scopes, right? So for example, if you get authenticated with those scopes, is it then possible to request additional scopes at a later time, right? Okay, so let me just ask that to the bot. If I authenticate the user through GitHub with specific set of scopes, is it possible later through the GitHub API methods to request additional scopes if a specific feature needs it? For instance, when logging in, I only request email and profile scope. What if I would want the users to eventually also sync their repositories? Can I somehow ask for that scope as well, right? So that would be the logical way to ask this, right? Yes, it's possible to request additional scopes for an existing OAuth. Great, but the process requires a bit of work. Well, all right, give me 1 second. Interesting. And this is exactly what I'm trying to avoid. This is exactly what I'm trying to avoid. Literally, I knew it because I don't want to duplicate it. That's my problem. Yeah, I know what is it going to do. It's going to create a, yeah, I mean, sure, bro. Yeah. Fuck. Oh, okay. So this is it. Okay. Well, actually, I didn't know that. Okay. Uh, Emmanuel, good evening, my friend. Okay, so that's actually not terrible at all, actually. Yeah, that's actually not yeah. Yeah, that's actually yeah, I think this is doable. Yeah. Okay, good. I was just worried that I have to register the plugin twice or some shit like that. That was my concern. Obviously, that probably wouldn't even work anyway. So that's good. So we have this thing already. This works. And then we redirect to this. I see. No, all auth is already there. I'm just I'm just improving one of the existing features of syncing GitHub repos. All auth is already there for a long time. So it's possible to have multiple callback URLs because it's impossible to set multiple ones on the GitHub github.com under auth apps. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, so basically the callback URL that you set in Git is a base URL, right? So in our case, this is the base. And then we can append additional strings to it to make, yeah, okay, that's interesting. Okay, so let's implement this. I mean, we have most of this done already anyway, right? So it's not, yeah, that's actually good. So we have this crap already. This is not a problem. We don't need that. Login GitHub callback. Yeah, we don't need that. So that we have, yeah, this is basically what we need, right? Okay. Fuck. Give me 1 second. Let me think, because I wrote a class for this and stuff. Blah 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 blah. Authentication auth. Yeah. So we have, yeah, this beautiful logic I wrote here. The question now is, should we put this here as well now, or should we not? How am I actually using this? Give me 1 second. Okay, and just to minimize any failure here, so we don't need the initial app. This is my base callback URL from GitHub. So please, so update old the example to match that. And while the robot is programming for us, so we have that open, that documentation. Let's have that. We don't actually need this anymore. This is production. We don't need that. Okay, so let me just think here. Builder, get info function, blah, blah, blah. Constants router. Okay, so we're actually going to put it here. We're going to put it here. And let's actually just wait for this guy to write it. So we don't need the login. This is what we need. I see. Okay. And then we'll modify this heavily, right? Okay. GitHub callback, LinkedIn callback, Twitch call. Yeah, not, yeah, okay. Whatever. Okay, beautiful. So at this point here we can say, now we can actually fetch the, let's say, public repositories, store them in a DB, redirect back to whatever, user/repositories, right? Why the fuck is my VS Code like shitting itself? Okay, beautiful. Come on, man. Jesus Christ. Okay, I just print this so this guy doesn't complain. All right, cool. So we are somewhere now. I have already some syncing logic somewhere, right? So let's search for it. So we want to grab that logic. Actually, let's go back to our front end. What was it here in the front end? Wait. Sync GitHub repositories. Yeah, so we already had like slash sync somewhere. Okay, beautiful. So let's find, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's this thing, right? Yeah. Sync user repositories. Yeah. Exactly. And I just have one more question for it, and then I think it's pretty clear. Beautiful, beautiful. It's just the question is, can I pass it a different token? Nice, nice. Good, 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 good. Perfect. Amazing. Beautiful. Actually, great. So we almost have minimal stuff to change. That's amazing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Good, good, good. This is really good. Okay. So we're gonna actually do. We're gonna grab this thing, I think, and we're gonna go here. We're gonna first make it work, then we're gonna move things around. I don't actually care right now. Jesus Christ, what did I do here? Wait. User controls not. Yeah, that's okay. Give me a moment. So that's fine. Where's the get it? Sync repos redirect URL? No, that's not what I want. Where did it disappear? Yeah, it's this one here. Okay. auth GitHub callback sync repos. Yeah, that should be the new URL. I'm actually, I mean, yeah. So actually, let me go back here and fix that up, actually. So I will, in fact, leave it there. And I will, in fact, remove it from here. I see. All right, and then if I go over here, I'll actually say const. Shit. Okay, I don't like that. Fuck you. Okay. Too much. No. Yeah. So we will move it there. Screw it. We will actually move it there. That's what it is. I'm not actually going to do this. The main issue here is that we don't actually even have a controller here. So maybe we should have one. Cool. All right, cool. All right, and here we're going to say auth controller from controller. Then we're going to call the bad boy here. So we're going to say const. How am I doing it in other places? Yeah, just auth controller. Yes, beautiful. Beautiful. That's just imported it completely at the wrong place. I'm importing literally. Yeah, what the fuck? Okay. So let's do that. And this. Yes, beautiful. And then out here we can say auth controller sync user repositories, right? Great. Now, so now we're missing some logic here, right? And so it's good that we have written this before. So let's say repos. So let's assume that actually, fuck, we're fetching repos now. So that's beautiful. So we almost have to change nothing here. It's almost there already. That's great. Okay, didn't we have good evening, I'm June. I'm gonna show you that in 2 seconds. Just give me a moment while I have this thought now in my head. And then I'm getting back to you in a second. Let me do one thing. Exactly. Okay. So this is the part we need. Beautiful. Shit. Beautiful. 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 Literally what we need. Amazing. That's literally as I envisioned it. Tip top. It's almost more or less the same than what I had before. Let's actually see. It could potentially be literally the same. And then the only difference is that we're going to use our Okta client, which I already am using. But let me, I trust this robot more than I trust myself. So let's just do this. And instead of doing this, we're going to do this. Beautiful. Okay. We have probably some syntax errors here. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, it's probably copy paste gone wrong. Let's see. Yeah, actually copy paste gone wrong somewhere around here, I suppose. Let's see. Yeah. So let's try that once again. And then I'm going to answer that question. Just give me 5 seconds, please. So what did I want to get? So we passed that validation. Okay, let's try that again. Try this once again. Actually, and that's not what I even want anyway. So why am I doing that at all? Yeah, this is what we wanted. This is what we wanted. The token itself, right? So we pass all of that crap. We destroy the existing ones. That's questionable if we should. So yeah, so here we should get the token. And really what we should do is, and why are we passing the request here? Let me just give me 1 second. Ah, okay, I see. So I suppose, am I calling it maybe a rec in here? Yeah. So we get the new token. Why is it making this in a new? So we get a new token as it suggested here. We should pass this to our Okta client. How do we pass it to our Okta client? Well, we pass the headers apparently. So this is probably using Axios underneath as well. So I suppose, so yeah, so this is what we're gonna this is what we need. It's pretty much identical to what we have already. Let's see, yeah, almost the same with the exception that I have this decorator called GitHub. Now let's see if we can actually also use this, what I already had before. Beautiful, okay. And then we don't need this alias in here. So technically, if we trust this bot, this should be sufficient, right? This should be sufficient, right? So we don't need, so this one should be done because I've done it before. And it has a bunch of other validation. Beautiful. Quick question, do you know show errors in the same line? This is called, let me show you. Give me 2 seconds. It's called something like, when I see it, I'll be able to tell you. And of course, it's gonna probably come last because you're asking about it. If you didn't ask about it, it would probably come first. It's called error lens. Let me share it with you. Let me get some water. My pleasure. Thank you very much for asking. All right, beautiful. Great, amazing, perfect, great. Actually, pretty good. So let's now just implement the an additional endpoint to kick in to start the new authentication flow, right? Let's do that now. So what we're actually going to do, we're going to scroll a bit up. This is all good, right? Yeah, exactly. So we need to start this flow, right? And this is going to start it. Actually, I might have already done that. Have I already? No, this is our front, and let's go to the API. La 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 la. Okay, so maybe not. Oh, actually, we did. It's right here. So I think the only thing that's wrong actually here is this app dot. Is this really what? No, I don't think so. Oh, wait. App GitHub all2. My code is actually not a transparent. It's a background. It's an extension called background that you can set up. So it's this one. I'm not using AWS. I'm doing infrastructure manually myself. I have a bare metal server, and I do everything with Docker. So I'm not using cloud. I have a relatively complex infrastructure that I've set up myself. Yes, I'm passing this. Well, my CI is GitHub on GitHub Actions. So yes, all of my envs are obviously in the CI. Clearly, yes. Okay, before I engage in a longer conversation, and my pleasure. What the fuck is this, man? Give me just 2 seconds. I lost my thought now. Oh, I see. No, it's all good. So this is actually good. Give me a second. Yeah, I think this is sufficient. This should be good, yeah. Well, keys are not on my system. They're in the CI. That's the whole point. I'm not actually quite sure. What do you mean if they're on your systems? Which systems, right? Everything is this. Every host on the planet has keys stored somewhere. Yes, of course I do. That's how everything works. How else are you going to pass them? How are you passing them? So how are you passing them right now? Ah, fuck. Okay, wait. Yeah, but I'm not quite sure what that has to do with this. How does that? Yeah, but I mean exactly, right? There's no other way you can do it. You have to pass some tokens somehow, right? There's like it doesn't matter if you use AWS or GCP or whatever, right? Or Azure, you have to pass some environmental variables somehow, right? No, you don't have to pass. Okay, so then how do you do it? How do you get those tokens to the code then? So what was this? And actually, shit. Okay, so we're missing some schemas here and stuff, and that's perfectly fine, right? We don't care. But just give me one moment here. So if I go here, and I'm just gonna say schema. Now I'm gonna say tags auth. What was it? No, how are the other tags? What they are under? What the fuck? But why does it? Well, I don't understand, Roberto. Like, why does that matter, right? You like that doesn't answer the question, right? You have to pass values, right? No, no, but it's an interesting discussion. Is that I'm not quite sure genuinely if you kind of understand that, right? Because you're just using a system that also does exactly the same thing, right? You have to pass some values to. Okay, I mean, all right. I think it's yeah. Okay, you don't have to pass it. Okay, so oh shit, auth GitHub callback sync repos. Okay, so it's here, but what is this auth GitHub callback? Is this the new one that I implement? I think it is probably. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, so because we don't need this extra auth. Yeah, that's exactly my point. I mean, yeah, well, that's exactly what I'm saying. You have to so you have to pass it. It's just named differently. Okay. All right, you don't have to pass it. Got it. Sure. Okay. Okay, the whole world is passing tokens. Only you are not passing it, Robert. I get it. Fair enough. Fair enough. Auth GitHub callback sync repos. So actually, we need this one. Auth GitHub callback, right? No, auth sync repo. So this is the initiator of this, right? So this is okay. Fair enough. Let's try this. Let's try this. So let's try to open our Thunder client, right? Let's open one of those things. Let's get over here. And let's copy this one. Let's do this fella. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it does work. Okay, so it does work actually. So we are actually being redirected. That's really good. Let's actually try in the browser. Try in the browser. Okay, good, 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 good. That's good. Of course, we're failing because our request is wrong. That's great. Okay. Well, is it? Well, it is, I guess. Or is it? Or is it not? Okay, so we are getting that the callback doesn't match. That was my worry, right? Shit. Simple Cookie, good evening, buddy. All right, let's try. Shit. Let's try to hit it here again. So we are actually hitting it, right? And fuck, it's because, is it this though? Yeah. Give me a second, okay? A function that returns the authorization you write is generally useful when you want to handle the redirect yourself in a specific route. This route object argument passes the request object to the blah, blah, blah. You don't need to declare. Takes in the Fastify request. But why is it not showing? Shit. What is it saying that it's taking Fastify request though? Interesting. Generate authorization URI. So reading this interface here, it doesn't seem that this takes what I'm giving it at least. Get new access token. So it takes literally the Fastify request. I mean, we can try giving it a request though, but I don't think that's gonna work. So here, I guess we could just say request, right? No, but that doesn't make any sense. No. Shit, man. Shit, that's not good. I see. Okay. Let's try that. Let's try that. Going back to over here. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that kind of sucks, but we'll see. All right. So we can't specify different callback URLs. That kind of sucks. But let's see if this still throws an error, though. It does, yeah. So this is, let's assume, kind of okay. Let's imagine that, right? Now it's kind of complaining about redirect URI, which I'm pretty sure is correct. Let me actually test it locally. So if I log out locally and I try to log in using GitHub, let's see if that works. Okay, so it doesn't work. Okay, so is my callback locally set to something wrong? Let's see. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I can't let you see my environmental variables. Yeah, so my local host thing is wrong. Okay, let me update it. Give me a second. Give me a moment. almost done. Give me a moment. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Okay. 1 sec, almost done. GH callback. Yes, that's amazing. GH callback. Okay. Close that crap. Beautiful. All right, cool. So now let's try that again. Now I think we're getting a bit punished here by GitHub because I failed too many times. Okay, now it works. Okay, so I was able to log in. Beautiful. I was just redirected to a wrong page. All right, great. So now if I technically go to let's go to our Thunder clients and let's try to call this. Yeah, beautiful error. Beautiful error. Actually, yeah, you're right. We can also do this, right? Or no, we can just new URL it, right? Shit. But it doesn't matter. I can already see what it is. Fuck you. Never mind. No, I mean, yeah, it's just a odd error. The biggest problem now, right? The problem now is that the callback. So now, yeah. So this is unfortunate, right? So this is gonna call back our odd thing, right? Now. So the problem is right is that let's find that one. Give me a second. So the issue is right that where is it? Where did I define that? Yeah, over here. So the problem is that no, yeah, there's several segments to this. First and foremost, I don't have a staging environment for this. So the problem is if I go ahead now and change the so we need obviously to have this we need this app to call back our localhost URL so we can actually debug, right? So right now it calls the production one, so it doesn't really redirect to the callback that I have changed here. So yeah, the problem is that we probably need some development type of app just to develop this, right? So let's actually create one. Let's just call it let's call it programmer network staging. All right, you need to look at my beautiful face again, just so I generate a new client secret here. Panosa This is just for you. My face, only for you. Only for you. All right, generate new secret. Yeah. All right, so we've created this app, the staging one. Hopefully I didn't fuck up the... I don't think I did. Yeah, here's the staging version, right? Okay. So let's go now and see what happens. Let's first try login locally. This should be calling my... Well, okay, so let's go now to this fella, this guy, and let's try calling this now instead. Why the fuck does it redirect me there? It makes no sense. So fucking annoying now, man. No, I've replaced both the secret and client ID. The question though is now, am I... So let's try. So it should be basically calling this testing get GitHub info. So it should be calling this guy, right? I actually did that with many people. I'm actually happy for that, man. It's good. I think you're gonna like it a lot. I think it makes all the sense. Good evening, course. How are you doing, buddy? So we can see that we do get the code right back. So that's good, actually. Okay, so it's good. It's fine, right? It's good. Now the question though is here, what do we do at this point, right? Okay, let's think here rationally, right? So it's actually fine. So we do end up here. We do some shit. Yeah, man. He's recovered. He's fully recovered, man. Thank you for asking, man. Appreciate it. Did we store any cookie, anything here in, like, I don't know what they do. Did we store some session or some cookie from... No, we didn't. Okay. I'm stored here, exactly. Okay, so I think we're kind of there, right? Let's just shit, do I have the debugger set up for this project? If not, why the fuck not, man? Let's see if I can attach it now. Actually, that would be great. I would just like to... Shit, what? Come on, man. Yeah, which processes? Didn't I write a script to get the attach process is already running? Yeah, okay. Okay, good. So the debugger is working. Okay, let's see what's happening. So we do actually get to this point. Let's see what's happening here. So let's add some watch statements, right? So we have some variables there. Let's see. So we get the emails. Let's continue further down, right? Okay, what is the emails now? So okay, so yeah, we can see it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm primarily, right? I primarily basically care about the email, and then we get the access token. We pass it in here. Yeah, I see. Okay, okay. Okay, so that's good, right? That's not terrible, right? Fuck. So the main issue that I have here is like, how do we know now? Are you logging in? Because we can't have, as the bot said, we can't have multiple callback URLs. That's the problem. We can only have multiple callback URLs if we create multiple apps, and I don't want to do that, right? So the issue that I'm having here basically is, give me 1 second. So the issue that I'm having here now is exactly that. Come on, man. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Why is it? Profile is not defined. Are you kidding me? Okay, the debugger is farting a bit. But either way, can I hover over it? Visibility, public. And we get the access token here, essentially. We got the access token. And then we get it over here. So we reply request promise. And then we call the callback, right? We call this fella, right? We get the token. So we have the token now. Where are we now? Are we still in a... Wait a minute. Jesus, man. GZ, thank you very much. GZ, JZ, GZ. Oh my god. I reversed that completely. GZ. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, so I'm just thinking a bit because I guess at this point the way that we could hack this thing, right, is that we know that we're gonna end up in here, right? And I suspect that we should get an error if we end up here somewhere, right? And we can say, okay, because for example, I can try getting the user profile, and I know that that's going to fail because in this specific call, we're only requesting the repo scope. So I guess if we can get an error, then check if what the error is, then we can decipher out of that, you're actually trying to sync repositories, right? So let's actually see about that. Let's hit this again. Let's go to this fella over here. So get info function, this is where we are, right? So let's see what happens here. Do we get an error? Because I think at this point we should actually get an error. Let's go next. So how the fuck are we getting the profile, man, with this scope? We shouldn't be able to get the profile with this scope. So do we have some existing token, right? Because you can see that I got my GitHub profile here, and I shouldn't be, because this specific thing is invoking, assuming that this is actually correct, right? Can I use inline? Yeah, we can actually do add break, add conditional, add log print. Yeah, screw it. Thank you everybody for your follows. Appreciate it very much. Let me put some new music. All right, cool. Well, that's what it is. All right. So going back to our debugging part here. So we did pass that thing. So where is this thing cached? Where is this? Is it in memory? Is it memory cached or something? What if we actually, wait a minute. So let's just complete this stuff. So that should be it. Let's kill this process. The debugger should also kind of quit, right? Panosa, thank you very much, my dude. Sleep well. I'll see you maybe tomorrow or some other day whenever you're free. Okay, so let's try that again, I suppose. So let's attach a debugger to some process with this one. Okay, let's try this again. What the fuck? Are we not running a debugger? Okay, now we are. All right. Ah, shit, but now we have the token in memory, I think. Probably. Should try this again. Okay, great. Okay, so good. So this point, I think if I see this one, no shit, it's not good. Fuck my life. So what do we have with this profile? So why are we getting the profile again, man? We shouldn't be getting that. So where is this token stored? Ryan, good evening, buddy. Maybe, man, is the fact that I'm logged into GitHub. No, I don't think so, no. Hi, I'm 15. I know HTML, CSS, JS, React. What do you mean I know? Can you elaborate a bit more on that? When you say I know, what do you mean I know? To what degree do you know it? Jesus fucking Christ, man. Are you kidding me? I mean, learn one that you're learning first, right? And build apps. How many languages you know? How many languages you know has no significance, right? This is programming is not competition, right? So learn some skills that you can build something with, right? Doesn't matter which language it is. So why is this requesting 25 gold? My pleasure, man. My pleasure. We can clearly see that this is requesting a wrong thing. Why? Auth sync repos. Let's take a look at that. Do I have some like API? What did I want to do? Auth apps. This one. Okay, so I see. Okay, it's looking for a wrong. It's looking for a wrong scope. So it's using a wrong scope for sure. And I think it's doing that because of the configuration of our plugin, right? So that's fundamentally, so my suspicion at the start of this was actually correct. Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, that's really bad, really bad. Because I think the issue is that it always now searches for this specific scope, right? Fuck, I wonder. So yeah, so this thing doesn't, that's unfortunate, right? So this thing doesn't take the scope at all. Yeah, so that's the problem, right? So we can't use that really. I don't know. So I don't see any method here, any function that actually accepts a scope at all. This takes in the request. This takes in the request. So none of it actually refresh token params. Get new access token using refresh token. I mean, we could potentially try something like this, I suppose. And then assuming that those params, but what the fuck are the params? Get new access token using refresh token. All right. No methods you provided in the documentation take a second argument with the scope. Closest I found is, and I wonder how can I get a refresh? Okay. I don't know. Yeah, that kind of sucks, man. Sucks big time. So yeah, it really sucks. I don't know what to say, right? The problem is it seems that you have to provide the scopes here and you can't alter them with any method later on. And that's really dumb. That's really shitty. Because I don't even know how would we do this. Like we can't really. Because okay, wait, let me ask it something else. Is there a work around here if we don't use the Okta client? Is there any way we can somehow only somehow request a different scope using Axios or any other client library? Yeah, I mean the data is it was synced last time 2021. That's why it's obsolete for anything newer that you need. Yes. Yeah, so we cannot do this like this, unfortunately. No. Oh man, fuck, that sucks. Yeah, that sucks ass. No, it's far from up to date. It's far from up to date. Yeah, I wish, but no, definitely not. So I think the only really solution we can have for this is either extending asking for user repositories when they try to log in with Auth0, sorry, with GitHub. I guess that would be it, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, so this crap pretty much does nothing, and it's more or less useless. Yeah. Send GitHub repos. Okay, give me 1 sec. Let me try one thing. Dimi, good morning, good evening to you as well. Yeah, this is not gonna work. No. And also we need to update. Yeah, this is no longer taking that. Invalid state. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's take a look at the front end here. So let's get rid of that. What was the endpoint of this? This, right? Yeah. Get experience. No, shit, that's the wrong one. Jesus Christ, man, come on. All right, let's see what happens if we go to our UI. Is it actually invoking anything? Am I calling anything when I click it? Wait, maybe we removed something. Let's see. Handle repository sync. Thank you very much for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Enter. Okay, so sync, where's the event handler? Handle sync. We actually no longer have the form, right? So we can nuke this. Get GitHub repositories. Yeah, that's correct. Nuke this. All right, let's try that again. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right, so this is probably going to fail, but let's see. Repos. So what did we call and what did we fail with? All right. Invalid states. Okay. Invalid state. All right. Let's put some breakpoints here. Let's see, actually, do we even get here? We fail somewhere in the actual, flow, somewhere elsewhere to say, right? So let's go here and what? Is our API like farting or something here? Oh, shit. That's a wrong breakpoint. My bad. How did I end up putting a breakpoint there? Okay. All right, let's get back here. See if, okay, so our debugger is here. Okay, so we do get in here, right? And let's see where we end up. Then we get here, and my suspicion is that we actually fail right here, right? Yeah. This is where we exit, right? Because we're trying to get this, and we are not really authenticated, are we? Try that again. Shit. All right. So yeah, so the user is here, right? So let's try user.data values. So yeah, so the user is there. That's fine. That's okay. And this is where we fail. Give me 1 second. Let me just inspect this. Okay. Okay. Then we fail. All right. How did I implement this? Let me read it a bit. Yeah.
When did you start this project? I started it a couple of months ago. I mean, I mainly do this in the stream, right? So it's only yeah, only doing it while streaming. So everything that's built and that's online, if I don't know if you signed up already, but yeah, everything that we have is yeah, built inside the stream. Ah, shit. Okay. Okay, so we're getting it here now. Fine. Yes, exactly. I mean, sure, I'm gonna spend some time if I have off works and stuff, but it's rare. It's very rare because I have a kid and a small kid and also a full-time job and a wife. So it's kind of, yeah, it's unfortunately not possible to do much other than just streaming, right? So yeah, absolutely, yeah. Interesting. Okay. Ah, nice. Have new people joining. Pretty cool. Thank you. Nice. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, the thing is, there's nothing here. There's nothing really here that's unclear to me. The only, I mean, this is fairly clear to me why it doesn't work. We're gonna make it probably not tonight. It's just, it's basically GitHub's API that kind of sucks, right? In a way, because the problem essentially is that I don't want to request too many scopes at the same time, right? So for example, when people are logging in on Programmer Network with GitHub, I want to request minimal amount of information. So when you click on this button, I really only need your email and profile, right? So I can really validate who you are to say, but so I don't want to include, let's say, repos here, right? Because I don't need repos. I don't know if you're ever going to sync your repos. So essentially the idea was that when you click this button when you log in, right? The idea was that then we request an additional scope. So when you click this, then we say, okay, hey, GitHub actually user wants to give us the permission to sync their public repositories. So please take this scope as well, right? But you can't do that. That's the problem. At least not with the library we're using, because the OAuth Fastify library always use the scopes which are by default provided in here. So what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna actually ask a question while we sleep over. Maybe, yeah, someone can help us out. Question, right? Yeah, I mean, but if we open up a question here, nobody is ever gonna respond to it ever. Yeah, whatever. I mean, let's do it, but I'm very skeptical. Fastify 02. Is it possible to request an additional scope pro? All right, let's just compose this question so we can at least see if we can get some help. Possible to request an additional scope. Did I misspell this word? I did. Using two, and it works flawlessly for many months now. I'd like to implement a feature in the platform I'm building where our users could sync their public GitHub repositories with their profiles whatsoever for when my Fastify auth by default is configured with only 2 scopes that I really need for authentication. Sako, give me 2 seconds and I'll show you. As you can see, I only request a user email. And ah, shit, that's wrong. Did I copy the wrong thing? A profile when users are authenticated. Whatsoever, I'd like to request a repo scope only if the users actually decide to sync their repositories. In simple words, I don't want to force users to, I don't want to ask users for repo scope when they are logging in, as I don't know if they will ever want to sync the actual repositories. So the question is it possible to request this additional scope when requesting a new token using some of the methods from the library? I've checked the types of all the existing methods, and it doesn't seem like it. In simple words, when users in my platform click sync repositories, I'd like to invoke an auth flow where I only request a repo scope to perform that action. Thanks in advance. Leo, my friend, thank you very much for coming around. Sleep well, my friend. So, Sako, what I'm doing basically, I wanted to improve the syncing of repositories. If you remember the feature that we have, right? And so just to kind of remind you, right? So if you go to your own profile, right? If you go here, right, you can sync your repositories. Now, the way that I implemented this so far isn't really through auth. I was just using some public API. So now I want users basically to just click sync, run into the auth, GitHub auth authentication flow again. And at this point, I need to ask them to provide a repo scope, right? So before they would provide a specific scope. Now I want them to provide a repo scope so I can sync stuff for them, right? So I don't want to. So unfortunately, there isn't a way for that with the current Fastify auth, because the scopes that you provide when you register the plugin seem to be the only scopes that you ever have. So in simple words, there's no way to click this button, initiate the GitHub authorization again, and then say, hey, just give me the repo now. So when you give me back the authorization token, right, I can then send a request to get the user's public repositories, right? So that's what I want, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't work. And I mean, it's quite clear what I want to do, and it's there's nothing confusing about it. It's just unfortunately, doesn't doesn't do what I want. So let's hope that they can answer, but I'm a bit skeptical, right? I'm a bit skeptical. So yeah, what can I do? I don't know if we should proceed with this furthermore or not. Honestly, genuinely don't know. But this would be the right way to truly implement this feature, right? Of course, we could solve this, right, again, but then that doesn't make any sense, right? It's just we could, of course, right, I could go over here and I could say, hey, well, also I want repo, right? So now this would be sufficient, right? Now we would get all the information anyway, and then, right, we would sync their repositories, right? But I don't want to do this because I don't want users, I don't want to bind logging in to also asking them for their repositories, because maybe someone doesn't want to do this action, right? So not all users maybe will want to sync their repos, right? And I don't want to prematurely ask for the access rights to something that, number one, you don't want to maybe share, and you, even if you wanted, maybe it's something that you don't want to sync, right? So yeah, so that is kind of the issue at hand, right? If you guys could thumbs just do the thumbs up here, I would appreciate it very much. If all of you can exactly, Sako, exactly. If you guys can go there and just click this and click plus, I would appreciate it very much. Just if you could thumbs it up. But yes, Sako, right? I want to have some default scopes and then be able to request additional scopes by need, right? Because it's really stupid, right? Because I mean, imagine that there's 5 more things that I want to get from GitHub. This now, right now, as of now, what I understand, I would need to always ask for all of the scopes up front. And that's really shitty. I mean, it's very hard to GitHub auth ask for additional scope. Ooh. Yeah, so this is what we need, public repo, right? And I mean, yeah. I mean, fuck, this maybe isn't even that bad. No, it is bad. No, I don't want it. No. Can't you create the user with those scopes, and if they want to sync them? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Limit access to public. This includes read write. But yeah, I mean, either way, right? I would like to just request an extra scope, right? So I think we're gonna wait until maybe tomorrow, whatever. Hopefully, someone responds to this thing, right? Hopefully, someone responds. And thank you for those who thumbed it up. Yeah. Limits access to public. That includes read write, access to code commit. Okay, good. So this gives the whole limit, right? Yeah, but that's the thing. There's no way we cannot extend it, right? That's the problem. There's no way to pass that thing anywhere, right? That's the problem, right? But I mean, I get you in a way, right? So what we could do, no, I mean, it's all hacky, right? Because keep in mind, there's another limitation. I can only call one callback always. So when you set this extension up, the callback is always the same. So if I click sync repositories, it's still gonna call the callback authentication callback, right? So in the authentication callback, I would have to do some hacky stuff to figure out, are you trying to log in or are you trying to sync the repositories, right? So that's another limitation, because if I actually go to GitHub, right? If I go to, let me show you. If I go to GitHub, right? If we go to our app, right? Let's say production one, can only have a single authorization callback. So there's no way to call this from separate places and call different callbacks, right? Which is super dumb, right? So for instance, when you click sync repositories, right? So let's imagine you were inside of this flow. I would like to call a different callback for this thing. So when I get some token back, then inside of there, I would only like to fetch the repositories and then store it in our DB. So the whole logic of repositories is already done on our end, right? Because if you remember, again, if I go to production, this already kind of works, right? It's just, yeah, you can see like those are actually, and I can resync, right? But yeah, it's not really, yeah, it's not really good the way that it's done, because again, if you remember, I ask you, right? So right now in production, I ask you to enter your GitHub slug, and you can theoretically, actually practically, you can enter anyone's slug. You can enter whoever slug you want, and you would fetch their repositories, right? So that's why we need to do this. We need to make sure that when you sync the repos, they're truly yours, and the only way we can do this is through you actually authorizing through GitHub for real, right? So yeah, that kind of sucks. But it's fun. I mean, we'll learn that. It's just the scope attribute lists scopes attached to the token that we're granted. Normally, these scopes will be identical to which, however, users can edit their scopes, effectively granting your application less access than you originally requested. Also, users can edit token scopes after the auth flow is completed. You should be aware this is possible and adjust your application's behavior accordingly. It's important to handle error cases. Check out the basic now. So yeah, there's nothing really here that even remotely answers. But worst case, we would request this, because this is public information anyway. So technically, there's no. So we could, worst case, I mean, we could just request this by default. Why? Because we already have access to this anyway, right? Because your public repositories are public anyway. So if I go to my GitHub, right, this thing is public anyway, right? The only thing that I don't want, right, is that I don't want to sync the repositories and make that decision for the users myself. I want them, maybe again, they don't want to do that, right? And I don't want to make that decision for them. But yeah, some of the information is already public, right? So who cares? No, but you can't. I mean, that's the point. You cannot request extra scopes. There's no method for that. Again, scopes are defined when you register a plugin. So they're defined once your application boots up, and once this OAuth plugin is registered, those are the scopes. I cannot call this piece of code. This piece of code is run once the application boots up, once the API starts, and that's it, right? I cannot override this. That's the whole question that I asked. So there's no way that I call some specific function, some method, and then I say, hey, can I, request this additional scope? The point is the client itself doesn't have that thing. where I can say, hey, well, now I'm requesting this scope as well. At least the client that we're using, and that's this library, right? So we're using Fastify auth too, right? Sorry, yeah. So you can't do it because the methods they provide, they don't support that, right? Let's go back to the bot. I mean, so you can re-authenticate. That's already working, but it re-authenticates with the same scopes. That's the problem, right? So you see the scopes you define when you register the auth plugin with Fastify are the scopes that will be used for all auth requests. And there isn't an option to change the scopes dynamically, right? However, it's possible to create multiple, and this is not what I want to do. I don't want to create multiple instances. Literally at the start of this stream, that's what I said. I'm not going to do this, right? I'm not gonna register the app twice. Sorry, the plugin twice just to achieve this because it seems completely wrong, right? So I'm not going to do this, right? Even though it seems like a solution. It seems like a solution, right? And then, yeah, but this wouldn't work because here I would also need to create two different apps, basically, right? Yeah, this wouldn't work because this callback has to be the same. So I mean, the solution, obviously, so one solution for this would be, as I tried at the start, to literally create two different applications, two different auth applications, one for syncing the repositories and one for logging in. So this is the one that we use for authorization, right? So when you log in with GitHub, and you can see there's 217 users at Programmer Network who are logging in with GitHub, right? And then we could create an additional one just with that specific scope and with a very specific callback. And this one would only be used for syncing repositories, right? That would 100% work. But the downside of that, right, is that I have to register. But you cannot edit the scope. No, you just can't. I'm not sure what you mean. Again, well, you can't do that, right? What do you mean? You want to mutate the object of this client directly? Is that what you're saying? Like try to hook into some internal state of the library and then try to change that? So essentially, yeah, let's take a look at that. So let's go through it. So if we go to the UI, right? Yeah, here it is. So we call this endpoint, right? This is essentially in the API what kicks in what starts the authorization flow, right? And that's defined here on the plugin itself, right? So this is, you can see start redirect path. This starts the redirect path, right? The plugin itself, right? And then you specify the callback, and the callback essentially is this one, right? So it's this implementation I have, and this is generic implementation I'm using that I implemented for all the strategies. So the same thing is used for Twitch login and stuff, but you can ignore those details. Anyway, here's the get GitHub info, right? So at this point we are saying, hey, use this is just getting a different resource completely, right? Ignore that as well. So I'm getting some stuff here, get GitHub info. And then actually this is used here. So this is the callback itself, right? So ignore this. This is where we start the flow. So this is what you're looking for. Get access token from authorization code flow, and then giving it the request, right? So this is just my way. This is just how I implemented it, because again, I support multiple strategies. So this is going to be, for example, GitHub dot, right? And then this is just getting the function, whatever the function is. So I made this again. I made it fit different strategies, right? And I get what you mean, right? Here it's like, hey, can I, mutate this object directly? Can I say here, whatever, like, but I don't think so. I don't know. No. I mean, this just takes the request, and this request at this point is going to have some code that we got back from GitHub, right? No, I already did. It doesn't have it. I already did that. We can actually do it together just for the sanity's sake, but I already did that, and that's not going to work. But let's do it again together. Let's attach ourselves to this. And let's go to front. Let's just close a bunch of this crap. So let's click sync. No, actually no. Let's try to log in instead, because now that's calling something else. So login. So here we are, right? We have a debugger, and if we hover over this thing, right? Can I actually watch on this? Is my debugger going to be smart enough to understand what I'm actually telling it? I don't think so, but let's see. Actually, it knows. Nice. Okay, pretty clever. So this is what this object is now: app of auth provider. So it has auth 2 authorization. So it has some objects, some client here, internals. And you see they have those internals here that maybe, let's see if there's something here that we can override. So here's the auth options. Let's see if there's like a scope or something that we can override. Headers, agents, client secret. I would expect it to be config. Wait a minute. Let's check the prototype. No, this is just a native object prototype. Authorization code constructor. Yeah, nothing that we can do there. He's very good, man. He recovered, thanks God. So pretty good. What about yourself, man? How are you? So there's no scopes anywhere. Super strange. I would expect some place here to contain scope, but it doesn't. Revoke path. Some ML courses, nice, man. ML AI, you cannot go wrong with that for sure. That's a good time investment, man. Keep it up. Sounds good, bud. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm skeptical about this, right? I don't think we can override it, even mutating, even doing something as crazy as that. So yeah, we can either create separate apps. We can see if those guys are gonna respond to our question. Interesting. Someone already answered. What? Wow. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. Shouldn't it be possible to call token.refresh? Fuck. Okay. Okay. What did he actually link to? Let's see. I mean, yeah, this is kind of what we need for sure. I think this is what we need. Interesting. Wait, let's stop the debugger. Let's do this. So okay, so what he said, let's actually try that just here. Just even if we end the stream without finishing this, it's completely fine because we're gonna learn something new and we can finish it, of course, tomorrow. So I'm not worried about that much. Let's just see. So he's saying, hey, why don't you try this, my bro? He's like that, and then include let's actually repo is not a repo includes private repositories. I don't want that. What was it? Public repo, right? Yeah. So it was this fella over here, right? So let's try that. So now we just integrated as part of our regular flow, right? Like a login flow, right? Let's go here. Let's go local. Okay. Token.refresh is not a function. Shit. That kind of sucks, doesn't it? Give me a second. Let's run our very useful debugger here. Where's our process? Is it running? Yeah, it is. Why am I not seeing it? It's this one. Yeah. Super strange. Okay. So we are attached to it now. Let's go back and try that again. So go to localhost. Try to log in. Let's see what this fella is saying. Public repo. Let's see what the token actually is. Ah, shit. Access token scope and so what is it? Access token. It doesn't matter. This token is just valid locally. I don't care. And let's try to understand what he said. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. So yeah, I don't see it. No. Yeah, that's the problem. Authorize URL. And actually, why is he referring to this? I guess maybe this is the library that this thing depends on. But then if we get into reading the source code, then it's gonna be a bit too long, right? But yeah, this is kind of this was a okay suggestion by him if it worked, right? But it doesn't. And maybe let's hope that I'm actually doing it on something that I'm doing something wrong. And what is access token? This is a bit, so help me here read this, Sako. So what is this access token? Access token, what, like? Oh, wait, refresh. Which refresh? Where is the refresh? Yeah, let's hope he's gonna respond soon. Give me a moment here. I'm sure that he thinks something else. I'm almost certain, right? I guess the function should be one the returned access token. Token access token refresh. No, but this is a string. There's no chance for that, right? I get what you mean. Let's try, but that's impossible. So the debugger is actually there already. No, there's no such thing, right? We have the access token string, the scope, and then this crap, right? One thing though is that there is a token here that, I mean, can't we, but you know what's the problem, right? The problem is that, so for example, you can see, Saku, that we have access token here and then we have the scope, right? But generally the way that the OAuth works is that even if we would mutate directly the scope and change it to something else, I'm sure that this access token wouldn't work because access token was generated based on those scopes, right? So I think that's fundamentally what's the problem. So once the token is generated, you can't just alter the scopes because those scopes at this point are redundant because this access token is already generated based off of this scope, right? So even if we would be like token dot scope is equal to something and then proceed with the rest, that wouldn't do anything, right? Because at this point we already have a token, right? So what could it be then? What is this thing? The new authorization code. So is it this constructor that we have to call? But where is this then? What is this new authorization code? Shit, man. Didn't we see that somewhere, that class? Didn't we see that class somewhere? I'm sure that we did. Give me a moment here. Yeah, here, OAuth2, right? Okay, wait. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, right. So if we would call this constructor, so if we would say whatever app of this dot OAuth2, and then we knew this thing, and what would we pass it? We would pass it something. What are the options? Yeah, so here are the options, right? So maybe the submodule provides support for the authorization code grant type. Well, I don't think that those are static methods, so we probably do need to new it, right? This is a class. So unless they're static methods, right, then we would have to new it, right? All right, I mean, let's try that. Feels a bit hacky, but shit, what was it? Ah, Zach, thank you very much for the follow, buddy. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's actually go somewhere. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think. Wait, let me just. So this is kind of what we have to change. So here we have to say app.github2, I think. Wait, how was it here? Yeah. Where were we, man? Where was that code that I was just debugging 3 microseconds ago? Was it here? No. Yeah, it's somewhere here, isn't it? Yeah, it's this one here. App get about. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So let's say here. So. So over here, right? We want to say app dot dot. Let's just inspect it once more before we do this. So let's go and run our debugger. Yeah. All right, let's inspect that. So what was it? That auth2, like you said. So it was this dot auth2 dot dot what? Yeah, this is the constructor itself. What does this return? So it returns an object that has what? All right, let's round up. I can't do this now. I'm too tired. I'm dead. We can maybe leave it here for tomorrow, and hopefully we're gonna get some more answers on this issue we posted. So let's hope more people are gonna respond to that. All right. Sako, was super good to see you, man. Can't wait to see you next week with your better half. Thanks for coming to my place. For the rest of you, as always, thank you very much, guys, for being here. I very much appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoyed something. I hope you had fun. I certainly did. And exactly, Sako, 100%, 100%. Awesome, guys. Thank you very much again. Sako, have a good night. Everybody have a good night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves and be well. I'll catch you guys up tomorrow. Sounds good, my friend. Sounds good. Peace out, everybody. Cheers. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.